The Switch Axe is finally here in Monster Hunter now. So in this video, let's explore its moveset. Stick till the end cause I'll be explaining the Switch Axe's file system as well. By the end of this video, you will understand the basics of the Switch Axe and how to use it effectively in hunts. The Switch Axe is one of the unique transforming weapons in Monster Hunter now. It can be used as an axe or as a sword. Knowing how to use both modes will be the key to mastering the Switch Axe. Now I know it sounds complicated, but I assure you it's not as complicated as the Charge Blade. It's actually far more simple. Let me show you. At the start of every hunt, you will start out in Axe mode. And in Axe mode, you have a longer reach and you are more mobile, since you can perform dodge rolls. While in Sword mode, you'll deal more damage, but the trade-off is your mobility. Your dodge rolls turn into small side hops. Plus, you're limited by this gauge right here. It starts out at half level and fills up over time while in Axe mode, and attacking using the axe fills it up. Perfect dodging also fills up the gauge in both modes. This gauge will be very important when it comes to the Sword mode, but more on that later. Now tapping on the screen while in Axe mode will perform a 3-hit combo that starts off with a rising slash into an overhead slash into a side slash. If you keep tapping, it just loops these 3 attacks endlessly. But if there's a bit of distance between you and the monster, the first attack will change into this forward slash and then it continues to the overhead slash and to the side slash. Now if you tap and hold while in Axe mode, you will perform the Wild Swing combo. Your hunter will keep swinging the axe like there's no tomorrow as long as your finger is on the screen. If you simply release your finger, your hunter will finish the attack with an overhead slash. But during the Wild Swing combo, if you swipe up, you will now perform this combo ender that switches you into Sword mode. You just need one Wild Swing to initiate this combo, so you can quickly tap and hold and quickly swipe up to do this move. This attack deals a ton of damage, but the downside is the animation is so long. You can look away, admire the outdoors cause we all know you gamers don't get enough sunlight, and when you look back on your screen, the attack is probably not yet over or the monster already attacked you. It's such a high commitment move, so if you're not ready or you don't have the opening, don't swipe up. Luckily, you can roll out of the Wide Swing combo and dodge to safety. Morphing to Sword mode using the Wild Swing combo is one of the best ways to transform into Sword mode. Not only does it deal a lot of damage, but it also charges a huge chunk of your phial gauge. But again, this move has a very long animation that's very punishable. If you don't have the opening, you can always transform into Sword mode by tapping the special button. If you're in Axe mode and you press the special button, your hunter will perform a Morph Slash. Now that we're in Sword mode, things start to get even more explosive. Because in Monster Hunter now, the Switch Axe is always in the amp state. Your sword attacks will always be followed up with a small phial explosion. Each sword attack will consume the phial gauge, and if it runs out, you will automatically switch out to the Axe mode. Now if you tap consistently in Sword mode, you will perform a 4-hit sword combo. After the 4th hit, your hunter will perform a double slash, and then into the Heavensward Flurry. It's still a double slash attack, but this time your hunter does a small hop. After the Heavensward Flurry, the combo will end with an Element Discharge finisher. Once your hunter thrusts the Switch Axe into the monster, you will need to tap the screen like a madman to reach the Big Bang finish. If you see that you're about to get hit, you can stop tapping and you will cancel the attack. But if you don't have enough phial gauge, your hunter will pull back and stop mid-combo and transform back into Axe mode. Now this is a very long sword combo, and the chances that you'll reach the Element Discharge finisher is very unlikely. you'll probably run out of phial gauge first and be forced back into axe mode. Or the monster forces you to dodge away, restarting your combo all over again. There are shortcuts to get the element discharge finisher much faster and still have enough gauge to perform the big bang finish. You can do that by perfect dodging. Perfect dodging will skip the first 4 hits of the combo and you'll immediately follow up with the double swing attack into Heavensward Flurry and finally into the elemental discharge finisher. The monster can and will still attack you, so be careful and be ready to cancel out of the finisher. Perfect dodging will be key to mastering the switch axe, because it's not only a shortcut, but it also fills up your gauge. In doing so, you can stay in sword mode for much longer, allowing you to deal more damage. You can also tap and hold while in sword mode and your hunter will perform the element discharge. It pretty much functions the same way. You still need to tap continuously to reach the big bang finish, and you can still stop and cancel out of the move. After any elemental discharge explosion, it will always toss you back into axe mode regardless if you still have any phial gauge. If you don't have enough phial gauge to finish the elemental discharge, your hunter will just stop and automatically transform back into axe mode. Now, there is 2 charge levels when you tap and hold while in sword mode, and right now, honestly, I can't tell the difference between the 2. Regardless of charge level, both attacks seem to be dealing the same amount of damage, so at this point, I can't tell you the difference. We will have to wait for Sammy to release the switch axe motion values in mhn.quest to really find out what's happening. When the switch axe runs out of phial gauge, there are 2 things that can happen. You can tap to perform a morph attack to transform back into axe mode, but if you do nothing, you will perform this very punishable animation. Try to avoid this from happening. You can actually manually transform back into axe mode by tapping and holding, then swiping up. You can also press the special button to transform into axe mode if your special gauge isn't full. But if it is full, tapping on the special button while in sword mode will perform the switch axe's special attack, the zero sum discharge. It's like the element discharge, but this time you latch onto the monster and of course you're invulnerable while the special is active. After the special move ends, you'll be forced back to axe mode. Now, at the start of every hunt, I always try to go for the Wild Swing transformation combo to get me some good damage right off the bat and a stocked up phial gauge for my sword attacks. But do take note that some monsters can attack you even before you finish your combo, so be sure to test it out on different monsters to see if you can get away with this combo at the start. If not, then I think it's better to immediately switch to axe mode and start swinging for damage. An interesting thing to note is that sword attacks do not bounce no matter how hard the surface they hit, so Kulu's Rock or Basario's Hard Shell doesn't pose a problem for the switch axe. With the moves out of the way, let's now talk about the switch axe's phial system. There are actually 5 different switch axe phials in Monster Hunter now. Power phials, power element phials, paralysis phials, exhaust phials, and poison phials. So let's break down each one. Now, it's important to note that the phials only affect the switch axe when it's in sword mode. For power phials and power element phials, they buff the switch axe's stats while in sword mode. Power phials increases raw attack power, while power element phials increase the weapon's elemental attack power. That felt kinda weird because I said power way too many times. Now for paralysis phials and exhaust phials and poison phials, or what I like to call status phials, they don't buff any weapon stats, but they do add special properties to the switch axe. Take for example the Jagras switch axe, which has exhaust phials. Switch axes can't naturally KO monsters since it's not a blunt weapon, but the Jagras switch axe can KO monsters thanks to the exhaust phials. Its sword attacks and phial explosions will deal KO damage. The Botto's switch axe doesn't have any paralysis stats, but thanks to the paralysis phials it has, it can now paralyze monsters when using sword mode. And for poison phials, the iron axe will be able to poison monsters when using sword mode. Interestingly, if you take a look at the Rathian switch axes, either the regular one or the gold one, they all have power element phials. But what the hell is it buffing? Well, the element that it's actually buffing is the weapon's poison stat. It doesn't increase your damage, but hey, now your weapon attacks will build up more poison and your phial explosion will also apply poison. I'll be analyzing these phials even deeper in another video, once we get some more info on the switch axe. If that video is already uploaded, it will be linked on the screen right now. But until then, I'll be doing some more tests on the switch axe and I'll be making some fun switch axe builds for you guys. So stay tuned for that. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.